What's up and welcome to my guitar channel. I'm a few days late, but In Flames have released a new song called Meet Your Maker. To be perfectly fair, I love In Flames and I'm really excited about their new album. One of the reasons why I'm really excited is there is a course coming out that shows you how they've produced everything in one of the songs on this album. I'm not sure which one. I will discuss that more towards the end of the video. So if you're interested in learning the production side of this song, then stick around and I'll discuss how you can do that. And when it's released, I'll be leaving links below. But for now, let's just listen to some In Flames and see what I think about it. Full disclosure, I have listened to about 20 seconds before I was just like, no, I need to do a live reaction to this because it is just too damn cool. So let's get into it. Okay, that's a cheesy video intro. So I will be analyzing this video in multiple ways. So one side will be production, one side will be composition, and one side will, of course, be about guitar, because this is a guitar channel. The first thing that I want you to notice about this is how groovy this riff is, even though they're playing something really simple. A really good way to lose groove when you're doing these fast metal songs is by having the double kicks going consistently like they've got it. So the way that they're maintaining the groove in this riff is the guitars have the first three semiquavers or hemi-demi semiquavers or whatever they are, 16th notes. The first three of those are played and the fourth one is a rest. So it gives us a galloping feel, which allows us to actually move. If the guitars were going at the same intensity, it kind of loses groove. Let's go back and just give that a very quick listen. Of course, we need to appreciate the production because this sounds fucking amazing. What I'm really loving about this is hear how perfectly that stuff is mixed. The bass and the guitar sound like one cohesive unit that goes all the way from the highs of the guitar through the kind of clank of the bass, down through the mids of the guitar, which is the most prominent part of the guitar sound. And then you've just got this really, really deep low end that extends all the way into the sub with the bass. It's just such a perfect use of EQ balancing between the two instruments to make them sound like one really tight, cohesive unit. And then, of course, they've got the kick in there sitting above the subs of the bass. And of course, there is the tick on the kick. We can't forget that. That's an obvious feature. But it's just the way that it sounds like one cohesive unit that is all working together all the way up the frequency spectrum. It's fucking awesome.
These are your last words, so make them worth the wait. Meet your maker, it's time to set things straight. These are your last words, so make them count, or it's too late. In time we all disappear.
One thing to note here, I did a video last week of more or less discussing what I'm going to discuss here, but in more detail. What they've done is they've got the verse that is all a screamo verse that is sitting in the one key, and then they want to have the climax. They want to have a melody for the chorus. So what happens? They start actually having a chord progression. So the chord progression is a 1, 6, 7. So this chord progression is used everywhere, really often through this style of music. Now, this is such a simple chord progression and the melody is really, really simple on top, but it's such a payoff because we're used to hearing the one harmonic idea going over and over and over, which is just the root of the chord. Now we're getting a payoff. Anyway, let's keep rolling. The first production idea that I'm actually not loving at the moment is the sibilance in this part sounds really intense. It's kind of piercing through. So when you hear the singer go on the S's and the T's and whatever, it kind of seems to overwhelm the whole mix. The chord progression has remained the same, but because we've opened everything up, we've really it's become a lot simpler. There's a lot of space to breathe. It feels like we're alleviated. We've got something, this might be a triumphant moment or something like this as we're going through. Really, really cool.
It's only down from here. You think you have a choice, but there's no one away.
I was wondering if they were going to change up this second verse, because generally in music, what people like to do instead of just repeating the second verse is they build it up. So now we've just gone into a double time feel. It's effective, very simple, really not that hard compositionally, but it serves to build energy, and that's what they want to do. They want to push this song towards a cool climax.
Everything else is dead. This is the final moment. All is done, all is said. In time we all disappear. But surely the countdown has begun. At the end of the masquerade, your time's up now, there's hell to pay.
All right, I've realized where that sibilance is coming from. It's actually coming from the sides in the harmony vocals. I don't know why this has happened, because the front vocal, nice and center, doesn't feel like it's got the sibilance, but they're really kind of coming in and overwhelming the sides. In Flames are a huge band. The producer and engineer, I don't know his name off the top of my head, but I can tell you that this is most likely a creative choice, even if I disagree with it.
It's only down from here. You think you had a choice, but there's no other way.
And I hope that we get a fucking amazing solo out of Chris Broderick like we've come to expect. You know what? One thing I'm going to point out about his tonal choice there is this, to me, sounds like a kind of Strat style tone, which is totally different from the normal kind of scooped guitars that we've been hearing through this whole song. There is a lot of high end, there's a lot of pick attack going on in this tone, which is great because we want differentiation between our tones when we're coming to a different part. If it's just the wall of sound that is normally guitars, we want it to blend in, we want them to kind of sound balanced. When the solo comes out, it's like a singer coming in, so we really need to make it sound different to what we're already used to. And by doing that, we get a different amp, a different guitar, a different something to make it sound totally different.
It's your maker, say something that makes sense. These are your last words, so make them worth the wait. At the end of the masquerade, your time's up now, there's hell to pay. It's only down from here. You think you had a choice, but there's no other way.
Meet your maker! That was awesome. I mean, what's not to love about it? I love In Flames anyway. There's a lot to learn if you just want to take that apart, if you want to learn those solos, if you want to get in there and kind of get more involved with the chord progressions. It is relatively simple when we're talking about chord progressions. Most metal songs are, so don't think twice about that. What a fantastic production. There is so much intensity. There's such a high level of performance from every single person in that band. It's just brilliant. I really, really love it. There is a lot of post-production. Like, clearly it sounds really, really polished. Everything is inhumanly tight. That comes from, one, a great performance, but then two, a lot of editing. This then brings me to what I mentioned earlier. I am learning production through URM Academy, which I'll leave a link below. I'm not affiliated. I'm paying for it because I want to get better at production. Simple. They are releasing a course called How It's Done, where they get the producer for In Flames to do an In Flames song from this new album, and it's coming out sometime very, very soon. I don't know when, but the point is that if you want to learn how this song was built from a production perspective, then you will be able to do that in the coming days or weeks or whatever. So I personally am going to be doing that. I've already got a course with URM where they did a different song with a different producer, and it was really, really ridiculously comprehensive, from choosing guitar tones, drum tones, setting up, like miking the drum kit, miking the guitar cab, the performances, the editing, the mixing, the mastering, every single stage that is in the process is what we learnt about. We went through, he did it all for us on a pre-recorded video. For the moment, I'm going to link to URM below because I think it's a really good service and I've really learned a lot from it and become immeasurably better. But then as well, if you get this course, you're going to learn a lot about how this type of process works in a very high level band with a high level producer. I'm only recommending this because I'm going to be doing it myself, but there's no kickback for me whatsoever by mentioning it. It's just because it's a product that I really enjoy. So anyway, that's it from me this week. I hope you liked this song. I hope you liked what I had to say about the song. And other than that, I will see you next week for more stuff about music. Goodbye.